there, I'm a fellow barbecue enthusiast. Mike Baker here, Baker's Barbecue. Hey, do you like beef jerky as much as I do? Because I absolutely love beef jerky. But the best beef jerky is beef jerky that you make yourself. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. I've got a 7-pound Ive round. We're going to cut that down in about 1/8 of an inch slices. We're going to marinate it overnight in our own marinade beef jerky marinade sauce we'll mix up. Tomorrow we're going to take it out. We're going to place it directly on the racks in the Masterbuilt Electric smoker over hickory smoke, and we're going to smoke it till it's absolutely perfect. So be sure and stick around. Fire up your smokers and cook right along with me. Let's get to smoking. So the first thing we need to do is go ahead and get our marinade mixed up. Now I'm doing, like I said earlier, I'm doing about a 6-pound Ive round, and the recipe that I will have posted down in the description of the video will be actually for about 2 pounds of any kind of lean meat. Flank steak, Ive round, anything that's lean. So what I've had to do is I've had to scale the recipe up. I think I actually went 4 times to make sure I would have plenty. But like I said, I'll drop the recipe down in the link in the description of the video, and it'll be for a 2-pound, and you can scale it up from there. So your main ingredients we have here is we have soy sauce, we got Worcestershire sauce, black pepper, we got liquid smoke. Now I'm not going to actually put the liquid smoke in because I'm going to be smoking it in the Masterbuilt electric smoker. But if I was going to be doing this in the oven without smoke, I would use the liquid smoke. We got onion powder, seasoned salt. In my case, I'm going to use Lowry's seasoned salt. And we have garlic powder, and I've also added just a little bit of red pepper flakes to it. This is going to be a more traditional type beef jerky in flavor. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing we're going to do, add in our soy sauce. Now, I may not take you through every step of this because it's going to be kind of painstaking. Next thing is going to be putting in the Worcestershire sauce. Next thing I'm going to do is put in black pepper. I'm going to put in 8 teaspoons. From there, I'm going to put in 4 teaspoons of onion powder, 4 teaspoons of my seasoned salt, which I'm using Lowry's, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, and I'm going to go ahead and put in 2 teaspoons of red pepper flakes as well. All right, so after we get all that put in there, you just want to go ahead and take your whisk and whisk it up real good, mix it in real well. So here in just a little bit, after we get the meat cut up and we pour this over it, it'll be all good and incorporated. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Ive round out. I'm going to cut it up. We're going to be cutting that in about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch slices. And then we'll get all that put into my marinade bucket and get the marinade poured over it. So as you can see, this is a pretty massive piece of meat. It's like before being trimmed, it's like 7 pounds. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is take off all this fat. I can tell by looking at that right there, that is all just a big hunk of fat right there. So I'm going to take all that off. You don't want any of the fat in while you're making your beef jerky. It actually causes the jerky to go bad quicker, having all that in there. Take all the fat off we can. All right, so let's get all of our fat. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it down the center because it's such a big piece of meat. And then from there, I'm going to do my slicing. Also allows me to have a flat surface. Now you can cut this with or against the grain. I'm going to go ahead and just cut from length to length. It looks to me like I'll be cutting against the grain. Because you want to cut these about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch. These are small pieces here, but if you can see that, small little pieces. 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch. Another little trick here to consider. Now, I had my Ive round in the freezer. I bought it a couple months ago, found a good buy on it. And so I thawed it out, but I didn't completely thaw it out before I started cutting it. And so if you do, if you've bought a fresh piece of meat and you do want to make your cutting a little bit easier, what you can do is stick it in the freezer for maybe an hour, 2 hours before you start your whole process, and it'll make it a whole lot easier to cut up. All right, so now we got our meat cut up. What I want to make sure I do is go in here and separate the pieces real good for that marinade to pour all down in there. Go ahead and pick up my marinade. And I'm just going to start pouring it all over the cuts of meat here. Slide this here to the side. Now I'm going to go back in here with my hands, move it around to make sure the marinade's making its way down over all the meat. All right, so there's how it looks. Got all the marinade in there, got it all cut up, as you can see, all the pieces pushed down. And what I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to take this out. I'm going to put it in the fridge overnight. I may go out there occasionally with a spoon or a fork, kind of stir it around just a little bit to make sure all the meat's getting marinade on it. Tomorrow we'll take it out. We'll put it in the Masterbuilt Electric smoker. We're going to turn this beautiful pile of meat into some tasty beef jerky. All right, so it's the next morning. I got the meat pulled out of the refrigerator. It's been marinating all night. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put this on the racks. Now, what I've decided to do is I cleaned up my Masterbuilt Electric smoker racks. I've brought those out, and I'm going to actually put the meat directly on that. So I've just brought those in. I'm actually setting it, the racks on just a sheet pan, and I'm doing that so to catch the juices. I put the meat on there, and I'm going to transport it like that to the smoker. This is a little tip there to make sure, try to avoid making a bigger mess of what you got to. So I'm going to show you how to put them on. I won't show you how to put it on every rack, but I'll do one rack here to kind of give you an idea. All right, so as you can see, the meat looks good. It's all seasoned up. Just take it, lay it out here on the racks. And hopefully I got enough room here. These are, like I said yesterday, I've got a lot of meat here. Just take it out, set it all over there. I got my smoker outside preheated right now. I'm going to run it about 175 is where I plan on starting to see how that does. And 175, 180. I've even heard some say do 160. Make sure you remember to give yourself a little bit of room to carry it when you take it out, and also make sure you space out a little bit in between the meat to make sure you have good airflow. That's the main thing about jerky, is you're dehydrating the meat, so you need good airflow all the way around it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the next rack, I'm going to stack it on top of this rack, load it up. You can repeat the process to all the meats used, and then I'll transfer it outside. All right, so there's how it looks after I've got it all stacked up. As you can see, they're all stacked in. I got it on top of that cookie sheet. So any excess juice or liquid, after I put it up there and kind of patted it down, will go down into that. So now I'm going to transport that out, and I'm going to slide each one of these into the smoker. Our next steps, we're going to slide our racks up in the smoker. Hey, one thing I do want to bring to your attention, on the Masterbuilt Electric smoker racks, you'll notice at the back, the rack slightly bends up. And what that does is when you pull the rack out, it keeps the rack, or when you pull it just kind of out to look at the meat, it keeps it from flipping and coming out of there. So you want to make sure that when you put these racks back in, you put that little curvature piece in first. So we're going to go ahead and slide these in. Also, something else is that you do not want any water in the water pan. So make sure that you leave that empty. Because keep in mind, like I said earlier, what you're doing is you're dehydrating this meat, so you don't want that moisture in there. And I'm anticipating on cook time, I am anticipating anywhere between probably 5 and 8 hours. That's just kind of a guesstimation. I'll just have to look at it as we go through it. I'll start checking it probably after the first hour, maybe 2 hours. And you know how beef jerky gets that, when you go to bend it, you can see that look where it's kind of cracking a little bit and it's starting to really get dehydrated. So that's what we're going to be looking for. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kick on slow code smoker. And then you want to make sure that you also open your top vent all the way. And that's you need to do that for the dehydration process in order for it to dehydrate the jerky as you go throughout the cooking process. So we're going to let this go for another hour or two. Come back, we'll check on it, and we'll go from there. I do have my temperature set at 175. I'll keep an eye on that, see if it needs to go up or down depending on the swings. And it's really cold out here today too, so I'm going to see how that affects it, and we'll go from there. All right, there you go. Jerky's all loaded up. As you can see how it looks there. Beautiful sight. I also want to add, as I'm waiting for the smoke to start coming out of this, to keep in mind these are thin pieces of meat, and so it's going to absorb a lot of smoke. And like I said, whenever we was doing the marinade, I didn't put any liquid smoke in it because I'm going to actually be smoking it in my smoker. But just keep in mind that it's gonna pick up a lot of smoke, so don't throw too much smoke at it. I recommend you play with it. You may do it a time or two and put too much smoke to it. I said originally I was going to smoke over hickory, but I decided to actually do it over cherry. I wanted something a little bit milder. And on my slow coat smoker, I filled up the hopper only about a quarter to halfway. So my plan is to throw smoke on it probably for the first hour, maybe hour and a half, and then from there probably won't put too much more smoke to it because I don't want to overdo it. So as you can see, we're getting plenty of smoke, and my temperature is running at about 174. I just wanted to say this is one of the beautiful things about having the slow and cold smoker attachment for this Masterbuilt Electric smoker is that if I was just using the regular wood chip loader, at 170 something degrees, I would never get probably any smoke at all, much less that amount of smoke. So that's probably one of the best uses for this, other than not having to reload the wood chip loader all the time, is being able to cook at really low temperatures and have that kind of smoke. All right, so we're about the 2.5 hour mark. I've already stopped putting smoke to it. It's still smoking a little bit lingering, but we've stopped putting smoke to it at about 2 hour mark. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to take a look at the jerky, and I'm going to see how it's doing. Pull this one here out. All right. Still has a ways to go. As you can see, it's still really, really juicy. There's not a whole lot of, still really juicy. So it's still got a ways to go. So as you can tell from the texture of that, I mean, it's nowhere near. It's still extremely juicy. It's almost like probably about a medium steak, and we want to turn it into dehydrated beef jerky. So I'm actually going to let it go probably another couple hours before I even come back out and look at it. So we're right at the 5 hour mark. I'm going to open it up, take a look at it. I haven't seen it since the last time. I'm going to see how it's looking. Oh yeah, certainly pretty good. All right, starting to really get dehydrated. See how that's starting to crack a little bit right there? That's starting to come away. It's still got a ways to go. Some pieces in there who are really starting to come along pretty good. Pieces up on the top. Still have ways to go on a lot of that. Yeah, it still has quite a bit of ways to go there on that. There are a couple pieces there, though, that look like they're coming along fairly good. May get those out of there. We'll see. I'm going to shut it back up. I'll probably start checking about once, maybe every 30 minutes or an hour from now on. And if pieces look like they're actually getting done, I'll go ahead and start taking those out. So some of these smaller pieces look like they're actually done. So I'm going to take some of those out, continue checking, and take them out as needed. Oh, yeah. Check out that beef jerky right there. Hey there, my fellow barbecue enthusiasts. We got the beef jerky all done. It absolutely smells wonderful and looks delicious. I can't wait to try it. So let's do a quick recap. Yesterday we took an knife round. We sliced it up in 1/8 of an inch slices. We marinated it overnight in our own marinade, which I will put the recipe for that down in the description of the video. And then we took it out this morning. Took it out of the marinade, put it directly on the racks for the Masterbuilt Electric smoker, put it in the smoker at about 175 degrees Opened up our top vent because we want maximum airflow for the dehydration process. And then we started the smoking process. I put smoke on this for about 2 hours. And after that, I didn't put any more smoke to it. I just let it go ahead and do its thing. It smoked for a total of between 5 and 7 hours. Some was done, the first batch was done at 5 hours. And throughout the next 2 hours, every time I would check it, every 30 minutes, there'd be some more pieces that were done. I would take those off. And at the 7 hour mark, they were all done. So the main thing you want to be looking for as you cook this, as you can see, the texture on that, that's a beef jerky. It's what you want to be looking for. So next thing we need to do, take a quick bite and see how it tastes. Delicious, great flavor, perfect beef jerky texture. This has got a great flavor. This is a traditional beef jerky flavor. It's absolutely wonderful. And I highly recommend using this process, and yours will be as well. So I do appreciate you guys joining me today. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're not new to the channel and you're coming back, hey, I really do appreciate it. Thanks for supporting Baker's Barbecue, and please hit that like button. And so until the next time I see you guys, happy smoking.